Hi, everybody. Let's get down on the floor. Bring a block or two. It's time for yin. We're going to start off with a variety of lower body stretches, and then we're going to get some. Let's get right into it. Highly encourage you to bring a block because we're starting in kneeling. Can you see me? Perfect. Starting in kneeling, and if actually kneeling on the floor doesn't feel amazing for you, then consider using this block. You have many different options to use a block for kneeling. You can actually place it between your legs and sit on it. I personally like to turn it the wide way so it can support all of my amazing glutes. Great. Let's hang out here for one more minute. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Allow your elbows to hang heavy towards you. Start to sink into a stillness and notice how your body's feeling. Where might you be holding some extra tension? Is it your shoulders creeping up towards your ears? Are you making any tense faces? Can you relax your hands and your fingers, the tops of your feet? Let's take two more breaths here. Moving forward, you can remove that block from underneath of you anytime that you would like to. Otherwise, we're going to start to walk our hands behind us. You can stay on your block if you want. Your fingers can point in any direction that they want or need to, coming into a nice supported back bend right here, getting a big stretch in your chest, a chest opener. Eye gaze can stretch up towards the ceiling or back. If you want an even bigger stretch, instead of keeping your glutes on your block or on your heels, go ahead, press your shins down towards the floor. Really push yourself up into this arching of your chest or tabletop. Delightful stretch into your quads. Let's take two more breaths here. Get ready to come out opposite the way you went in and careful of that block that might still be on the floor. So chin comes to chest, releasing yourself back down. We're going to take the block away and come into a big old ankle stretch. I'm walking my feet and my knees, my shins closer towards each other, and hands come back down behind you again. If you're really tight, one leg at a time, you're working to press the tops of the feet into the floor and lift your knee up. And if you're not feeling super tight, if you want a little bit more of a challenge for these next 30 seconds, you're going to lift both knees up off of the floor. Try not to roll too much towards the outside of your feet so there's still some pressure under the big toe down on the floor. I just realized I have all my plant lights on, and I hope they're not a distraction for you. Last few breaths here. You got this. Create that noticeable stretch. And on your exhale, start to bring your shins back down towards the mat. We're going to extend legs out long in front of us for a little bit of staff pose. So fingers right by your hips, stacking your head over your heart, over your hips. So notice if there's like some rounding in your back, or if you're leaning far back behind you, you're going to find as much length as possible. And this might mean you need to take a bend in your knees. Awesome. Fingers can stay right here to the floor. Your toes can actively flex towards your face for more of a stretch, or gently fall away. Next up, let's enjoy a spine twist. Hold on, I spoke too soon. We've got another breath here. Great. Bring your right hand close by the base of your spine, and I want you to really think about keeping your chest lifted. So chest stays lifted. So we're going to do our best to not collapse through the chest as we come into the spine twist. Belly's pulled in, so back is feeling good. Right ankle crosses over left leg, and you can hold onto that right knee however you want. Maybe it's your hand outside of your knee. Maybe you inhale your arm up and use the back of your forearm. Maybe you grab hold of your mat towel. Oop, I lost the towel. But whichever of those options that you went for, use your next inhale, ground through your sit bones, lift through your chest. So we haven't even twisted yet. That's right. We're just working on finding that lift and length. Now that you've got it, turn, open your chest. Once more, inhale, find your lifted length. Exhale, turn your head over your shoulders. Your chest might not have been able to twist anymore, but perhaps your neck could for a different stretch. Keep grounding through your sit bones. Find that one spot if your eyes are open to relax your eyes or simply close them, because if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. We're here to create a stretch, probably uncomfortable, not painful, but where we can still enjoy long, slow, full, deep breaths and stillness. Almost towards the end, maybe you're able to lift up a little bit longer, lighter. On your next inhale, find your big length through the crown of your head. Turn your chin back in line with your chest on your exhale. Inhale, find your lifted length. Exhale, turn back towards the front. Uncross your legs. You can bring your hands behind you, maybe shake out through your shoulders, shake out through your knees. Windshield wipe your feet, then lift yourself back up. Coming back through just to that staff pose for a second. So I'm not trying to overarch the back, that nice proud lift. Left hand comes close by the base of your spine. Go ahead, cross your left leg over your right, and feel free to use your hand however you want to need. Whole new side of the body. No judgment, no expectation. Whatever happens, happens, but still starting with that big lifted length. Open your shoulders, open your chest, and come into your twist. Let this length be number one behind breath. So length is like number 1.5. Shoulders relax away from your ears. Using the floor, using your leg, using your mat as a prop to just be here right now in your breath, in your twist. Living your best life. Almost at the end of the spine twist. What can you soften and still feel like you're doing something? On your next inhale, find that big lifted length. Exhale, head back in line with the heart. Inhale, lift up, rise up, root through your sit bones. Exhale, turn back towards the front. Uncross your legs once again. Windshield wipe your feet. Maybe walk your glutes even back a little behind you, coming into a hip hinge. Next, we have caterpillar. If you don't want to go into a full caterpillar, you can stay right here. Hands can stay by your sides. Remember, you can have a generous bend in your knees if you need to, if your hamstrings are really tight. Otherwise, we're going to start to walk yourself closer to your legs, really beginning to fold forward. Maybe you slip into your pants so there's no free shows. Maybe, or maybe you just let whatever happens because you're at home. If there's a lot of space between like your chest and your legs, bring your arms to the party. Maybe relax your head on your arms, or if you're pretty close, maybe you relax your head on your block. Check out if your shoulders rounded all the way up towards your ears, which also brings space between your belly, and work to make that hinge from the hips. Remember, you can bend your knees to help bring your belly towards your thighs. We're going to hang out here for one more fantastic minute in your caterpillar. I know we're sitting on the floor, but we're also still in a forward fold, so make sure there's some gentle engagement in your lower belly to keep your back feeling good. And keep that engagement as we prepare to come out. So lower belly pulled in tight. Use your inhale, lift yourself up. We're going to open our feet really wide, like mats width distance apart. Soles of the feet down to the floor, hands can be behind you. Start to windshield wipe your knees. You can be really gentle to begin with, but each time your knees windshield wipe, I want you to think about trying to bring your inner thigh, your inner knee to the floor. And I find that I actually need to like walk my hands in a little bit closer. So I just can't have my hands super far back to be able to get the inner legs towards the floor. Scooching closer each time. The next time your legs fall to the right, sit yourself up a bit. Bring both legs to the floor. We're going to make it a little easy to begin with. Create as much 90 degrees with your legs as you can, but then twist towards your right leg. You can place your hands down on the floor, or maybe hands or even forearms on a block. So the right thigh and the exterior of the right thigh is on the floor. We're kind of in a spine twist and deer pose. And you can have this left foot as close to your glute or as far away as you need to create a stretch, a meaningful stretch for you, where you feel supported, where you can find stillness, because we're going to be here for just over a minute from right now. And while you're relaxing here, check back in with your shoulders. If there is a lot of rounding in your back, can you bring your chest forward? Can you create length in your spine, even here, while just relaxing on the floor or close to the floor, or lift it up and nowhere near the floor because you're doing what feels right for you? All right, we got our last couple of breaths here. So I want you to start working to sink your left glute towards the mat. So instead of like creating the big stretch that you might have had, lengthening your hip flexor, I'm going to start to bring a little bit of a bend, a hinge. Left glutes coming towards the floor, and then press yourself up. We're going to turn towards our knees. So we're coming into a more traditional deer pose. This might not feel very good on your exterior left hip. So if you're feeling a lot of pinching pain, then I want you to go ahead and bring your foot in closer. Actually, turn the top of your laces down, and it'll bring more of a stretch into the quad as opposed to the exterior hip. We're going to be here for just about 30 more seconds. Create stillness where you can. Remember, this practice is actually meant to be a little uncomfortable. But life is a little uncomfortable. And we just breathe through it. So we're practicing here. Great. Keeping your right glute on the floor, we're going to take the left leg and bring it all the way over outside of the right knee. And then you're going to sit your left glute down. You can shimmy your right foot up to try and get your shin parallel with the top of your mat or an imaginary wall, or just not quite all the way towards your glutes, because we're coming into double pigeon, fire logs. We've got 1 minute right here. Pretty normal for most people that your knee might be all the way up towards your chest. I want you to sit both glutes down. That's number one. Number two, maybe you use a block. Place a block or a pillow just to find something you can press the outside of your leg onto. And if you're feeling pretty open, maybe you can get both of your legs to stack. Maybe today you only need like a sock to help you find that space. Your hands can be behind you if you're really tight. If you're not feeling much, you can take that gentle hinge forward. Toes flexing in towards each other makes this more engaged, more challenging. Toes pointed can be a little bit more relaxed. So find what feels good. Couple breaths left. If you folded forward at all, I want you to lift yourself up and we're just gonna widen our feet to come into butterfly. So just dragging the left leg to the right. And here we are in butterfly or bound angle. You might want to walk your glutes back again, or just like kind of rock a little side to side to get them under you as much as possible. And once again, just like in fire logs, your knees might be all the way up towards your chest and shoulders. And if that's you, go ahead, bring a block in. Maybe even turn your block at an angle to really provide the support you want. If you're not using a block, if you're close towards the floor, options include interlacing your fingers under your toes. And if you don't have any props today, wiggle your feet further forward. And that might also help you just get more of the backs of your legs towards the mat. Feel free to forward fold if you want or need. Let's do 1 minute more in this butterfly. Bring some big breaths to the back side of your body, shoulders relaxing from ears. So much space between your backside ribs, so much opening of your hips. If you folded forward, use your inhale, lift yourself up. Go ahead, extend your legs out nice and long. Hands can come behind you. Bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet. Shake out your shoulders if you want to. Great. Let's get the other side. So bend your feet. Legs really wide, wider than mat width distance apart. Come back to that big old windshield wipe. Remember, each time you pass through, your goal is to try and get the inside of your leg to tap down towards the floor. Maybe you open your legs even wider. Maybe you challenge yourself to a little bit narrower. I'm still walking myself up a little bit each time, getting ready to actually sit down. And then the next time that your legs fall over to the left this time, go ahead and keep them there. You can shift onto your left glute. Hands can come down towards the floor. You can stay lifted. Totally okay if that right glute is floating in the air for this one. Maybe you bring your block along as something to place your hands on if you're feeling really tight. Let's take the next half of this minute to just enjoy this twist, maybe sink on down, and then we'll work towards bringing the right glute back to the floor. All right, you can still stay right here in the twist as you are. If your right glute cheek is really far from the floor, though, I want you to start to soften through the right leg. So no pressing that left knee down and away. A little bit of a hinge from the hips to start to release the glute towards the floor. If you folded down to your mat space, carefully start to lift yourself up. And then turn yourself forward. So we've got these two 90 degree angles. Working towards getting that right glute towards the floor. Might be nowhere near it. Totally okay. If the pinching on the exterior hip is too much for you, remember you can fold the top of your right foot in. Find your breath. Next up are fire logs opposite sides. So shifting the weight once again onto your left glute. Right foot comes all the way to the outside of your left knee. And then you carefully begin to sit your right glute down. Your knee might be all the way up to your chest, in which case you're taking your block and you're placing it between your legs as something to press the outside of your calf on. Otherwise, stacking those two legs one on top of the other. Your hands can be behind you if you're really tight, if you need that support. If you need the extra stretch and fold forward. You got 1 minute to go. If you joined me in folding forward, belly in, protect your back. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, you can kick your feet out for a moment. And then bring them under you. Let's come into tabletop. Once you get there, free movement time. Find some cat-cows. Find what still feels good, what your body needs. We've gotten a lot of great openers into the hips, stretches into the glutes. Maybe you want more of those still. Maybe you want to make some circles. We are going to start getting into our upper body next. So if you want to warm it up, do some circles with your shoulders. Or maybe you're sticking with some traditional cat-cow because you're doing what feels right for you. Maybe you're putting it all together, but slowly. Make sure if you try something in one direction that you also give your body a chance in the opposite direction. Coming up next, we got a nice long child's pose, our longest posture of the day. So get all your spilkies out right now. Shake it out. Be as weird as you need to. And when you're ready, start to bring your toes together. Open your knees as wide as you would like. Release your glutes back towards your heels. Start to walk your hands forward. If walking your hands forward does not honor your shoulders today, take as generous of a bend as you want or need. It is allergy season, and they are not cool this year. So if you would like to place a block underneath of your head so that everything doesn't drain into your head, that is also an option. Find what feels good for you today, right now. Let's hang out here for 3 minutes from right now. Stay tuned into your breath right now. You find that your thoughts are straying, that's okay, it's normal. But let them know that this is your time. And come back to your breath, to this inhale. How many seconds is your inhale? How long can you pause with your lungs full and your chest expanded? Can you slow your exhale down to be at least 1 second longer than your inhale? How long can you pause with lungs empty? If you find yourself thinking about anything other than this inhale, this moment, break it down incrementally. Stay focused second by second. Relax. Oh. Time flies when you're relaxing. Start to walk your hands in. We're going to come into Sukhasana, a comfortable seated position. And I really encourage you to bring your block and sit on it. I feel like everyone is so hesitant to sit on their block. I think I've demonstrated that my hips are pretty open. Mhm. People, I love sitting on the block. The sloping, this openness that you get, instead of your knees coming up towards your chest, which creates that rounding in your back, treat yourself to sitting on your block. And then just be here for the next couple moments. Round through your sit bones. Notice how you're sitting. Is there a lot of lean forward? Is there a lot of like cow in your spine? Is there a lot of lean back? Is there a lot of cat in your spine? You just grow. Even that gentle tuck of your pelvis, stack. On your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Bring your hands palms together, and then release your hands down to heart center. Elbows relaxing towards hips. Press the base of your hands towards each other. And then go ahead and open your palms like a lotus flower blooming. Tuck your chin to your chest. Back to your deep breath. I want you to imagine what this lotus flower might smell like. And how, if there were a beautiful flower in your hand, you might slow down a little bit. Actually smell it. Enjoy it. Take it in. Go ahead, close your lotus blossom. You can keep a gentle tuck of your chin to your chest. Inhale your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers, not thumb. Open your elbows wide and bring your hands to the back of your neck. Lift your head up and press your head into your hands. You can even press your thumb onto the side of the neck for a little massage. Draw your belly and knit your rib cage together and squeeze your shoulder blades. So elbows open really wide. Not a lot of pressure on the back of your head, so you're not looking to push your head forward. You're pushing your hands, anything, into your head back for that lift of your chest. 2 more breaths. Like you're trying to bring your elbows to touch each other behind you. On your next exhale, tuck your chin to your chest and start to stretch your elbows forward and towards each other. Once again, instead of pressing your head down, think about your hands stretching like they're going to slide off the top of your head to help create some length in your spine as opposed to pressure towards the floor. So we're kind of in cat pose here. Think about squeezing your elbows in towards each other. On your next inhale, lift your chest up, open your arms once again. Release your fingers, stretch them up towards the ceiling. This time palms can face forward. Keep your left arm stretching up towards the ceiling. Right hand comes down to the floor. Find a big reach with your left arm to the right side. Keep your chest square to the wall, or maybe even open towards the ceiling as opposed to collapsing down towards the floor. So really opening up through the back. On your inhale, lift yourself up. On your exhale, left hand comes down towards the floor. Find that really big reach. A little bit slower for this first one. On your next inhale, lift yourself up. And now just move one breath at a time at your pace. Exhale, hand comes down. Find a big reach. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, other side. And if your breath is a little faster than mine, okay. Take this time to just move at your pace. Let's work to get one more on each side. And if you finish, you can just send your praise hands up towards the sky and wait for your shoulders relax from your ears. Awesome. All right. So we're all meeting together. Give anyone an extra second who's not here yet. Make sure your shoulders aren't creeped up towards your ears. So relax them down. Proud lift of your chest. Great. Go ahead, ground through your sit bones. On your inhale, length through the crown of your head, not fingers stretching up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hands release down to come into a spine twist. Maybe your hands on the inside of your right leg. Maybe you're feeling really opening your hands on the outside of your left leg. If you find that sitting on the block is no longer for you, you can release yourself down from the block. Find that proud lift of your chest. Let this lift of your chest and length of your spine be number one. So even if your spine twist is barely a twist, better to find this long length in your spine. So I think right now, than to be really turning and twisting and super collapsed, because then we're not getting the full benefit of the stretch. So find where you can be. Just a couple more breaths. Shoulders away from the ears. On your next inhale, we're going to turn back towards the front. You can bring your arms up overhead again. And exhale, turn, twist to the opposite side. Wherever your hands fall, that's fine, but try to use them to find that proud lift of your chest. Take that overarching out of your back. Draw your belly in so your spine feels good. Belly pulled in, shoulders away from ears, lats engaged down your back. We're almost there. If you've been joining me for some upper body workouts or anyone on the team, we've been including them in all of our on-site and streaming classes. These spine twists are going to feel so great. Awesome. On your inhale, turn yourself back to center. Bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your arms down in line with your shoulders and make some circles with your wrists. Go ahead now, change direction of circles with your wrists. I'm also like opening and closing my hands. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Pull your belly in, stack your head over your heart, over your hips, and then press your hands out to the imaginary walls. Flex your fingers back towards your face, such a big stretch. Into the backs of your hands, into the front of your wrist, up into your elbow, maybe even feeling it in your armpits. We've got a couple breaths left. You can do this. Ground through your sit bones. Inhale, find your lifted length. One more breath here. On your exhale, release your hands down. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Stretch your knuckles down towards. If you can't interlace your fingers behind your back, that's okay. Just press the backs of your hands against your back. See what you can find for this big, proud lift of your chest. On your exhale release, send your hands palms forward, palms together, and then flip your palms back to the hands together. Cross your arms. Hands are holding each other. We're amazing. Stretch your knuckles forward. Tuck your chin to your chest. Ooh, pop, pop, crack, crack. Ooh, coming into cat here for just a second. Find as much rounding in your back as you can. One more full cycle of breath. Shoulders away from ears. On your next inhale, lift yourself all the way up. Separate your hands. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Ooh. Nice. We're going to come on down to our mats next. I'd like to get one more chest opener before our final savasana. We're going to skip a few things. We're going to get there. So go ahead, bring your block. Actually, 2 blocks would be great. So for supported fish pose, 1 block is going to be right at your upper back, and your other block is going to help support your head neck. If you're really tight, you might like your second block to be on the tall side. I like my second block to be on the low side. And if you're feeling really limber, you might not even want a second block for your head. So bend your knees, carefully lower yourself down onto the block. You can have it on the high part like this, maybe a little less self-myofascial release if it's on the wide side, but always an option. Or you can use a foam roller into your upper back. So I got this block on my upper back between my shoulder blades, and then I've got a block that I'm resting my head on. Keep your glutes relaxed to the floor, and then find what feels good for you. You can extend your legs nice and long. You can clamshell your feet together. Maybe even play around with the arching of your back. How much can you relax while still feeling supported? Arms can come out wide to the side, and bringing your arms out wide to the side can even help you squeeze your shoulder blades in and around your block for an extra little stretch, and then check back in with your hips, with your lower abs, with your belly. So relax. We're opening the chest. We're getting this self-myofascial release in the back. You have the option to come into another hip opener, and then the desire to find your stillness. I think that this reclined fish pose is just heaven. So if you'd like to stay here a little bit longer, please do. If you're limited on time today, though, let's come off of our blocks. Take your time. Use your elbows. I like to remove the one from my upper back while my head's pressing into the top block. Lord, onto the floor. So either still enjoying your supported fish pose or making your way down to the floor for a final savasana. Wherever you are, whichever posture felt right for the moment, come back to some total body scans. On your inhale, start at your hairline. On your next inhale, pick up at your eyes and your eyebrows. So really take your time, inch by inch, move down your body. Inhale, how do you feel? What and where do you feel? And exhale, if you came across a spot that doesn't feel great, let it go. If you identify a spot that's so uncomfortable, it's painful, make an adjustment. Can you work your way back into your stillness? Can you once again find softness in your breath? And as we move into the weekend, recognizing how wonderful it is to take this time for ourselves. A reminder that this practice can also be taken in off of the mat. So the next time you're in a meeting, a gathering of any sort, on the phone, friends, family, work, whatever, and the conversation is not going where you want, find a soft gaze, take a long, slow inhale, and let go of whatever you can't control. Let's close out today's practice down here on the floor, just to encourage you to stay a little bit longer. I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me today. I hope you can thank yourself too. Can you think of one positive thought that you can take with you through the rest of the day? Inhale it into your mind, into your heart right now. And exhale, let go of all that you don't need. You know, that was a long exhale. There's a lot. There's a lot I don't need. But till we're together again, I hope that you'll think as many good thoughts as possible. That you'll take time for yourself to speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, and every day, even if it's just a little, nourish yourself from the inside out. If no one's told you today, you're special. And as I leave you here on the floor, I hope that you know that. Take it into your heart. Have a wonderful rest of your practice, a wonderful rest of your day. And please know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. Whether I see you or not, we're sharing energy with each other. And I really think that makes a difference. So thank you for coming and taking some of mine and putting yourself out there as well. Namaste.